So I was in my early 30s when I got my first dog, a little 8-week-old puppy that I named Misty. And I had her for 15 years. But when she developed an inoperable brain tumor, I had to put her down. And that was really, really rough for me. So the morning that I put her down, I called in sick to work and I just stayed in bed and cried. I just felt like I needed to be by myself to sort of deal with my grief. And so on the second day, I did the same thing. On the third day, I thought, I can't just keep avoiding going into work, and maybe I need a distraction from my grief. So I thought about it, and I remembered that my boss had encouraged me to go check out something called Toastmasters sometime. And Toastmasters is an organization that teaches people public speaking skills. They do this through meetings. There's a pre-selected topic, and folks give speeches on that topic. And I thought, okay, this would be a good thing to do. Take my mind off of it. Wouldn't really have to do anything, but I could count it as work time. So I called my boss, let her know that that's what I'm going to do, and I head off. I find a meeting downtown, and I get there just as the meeting's getting started. I grab the only seat that's remaining, and it's up at the very front of the room, right next to the speakers. I start to feel really good about this. I got out of bed today and I put on some professional clothes, and I'm just going to listen to other people talk for an hour or so. That's going to be pretty easy. So I feel really good and I settle into my chair. The host gets up and he starts to go over the agenda for the meeting. And then he says, "Oh, I see we have somebody new here today. Could you introduce yourself?" I say, "Sure. My name's Peg. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Today seemed like a good day." And he says, "Well, welcome. We're glad you're here." And then he proceeds to introduce the topic for the day, which is our beloved pets. And I freeze and my heart stops. But my brain is screaming, "What the hell? Like, no, 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 no." And I want to get up and just run from the room, but I'm sitting at the very front of it, and it's going to feel way too awkward to me to stand up and leave. So I stay. The first person gets up and he gives his speech and he starts talking about his dog, and I am not listening because I am trying so hard to not dissolve into a pool of tears. I try taking deep breaths. I try looking down. I tried discreetly wiping away tears, and none of it's working. And I realize I'm just going to have to go with it and let the tears fall. So I look up, make eye contact with the speaker, and just start crying. And I proceed to do that through the two remaining speakers as well. As things wrap up, I'm starting to feel kind of relieved. I just want to leave. And then I hear the host say, "Well, we feel it's really important to get feedback from our guests. So Peg, what'd you think of the meeting?" And I take a deep breath. And I say, "First, I want to apologize to everybody whose speech I cried through. It was nothing to do with your speeches. Those were fine. But I just put down my 15-year-old dog 3 days ago. And I was looking for something to take my mind off of that, and I came here." There is a long, very uncomfortable pause. And I try to just let them know that I'm going to be okay. The meeting ends. I get my stuff. I get up to leave. But all of a sudden, there's a man beside me. And he says, "I just want to give you a hug." And it takes me by surprise because I don't know him. But he wraps his arms around me in this really warm, very kind embrace. And there's something so soothing about that. And then there's a woman next to him, and she wants to show me pictures of her puppies. And then there's a third person who comes up, and he has tears in his eyes, and he wants to tell me about when he had to put down his dog. And slowly, there's this circle that's developing around me. And it's just people sharing our stories about our dogs. I cry more, I get more hugs, but I realize that they're offering me something that I didn't even know I needed, which was just a chance to find people and connect with them who really understood what I was going through. And that felt incredibly healing. Thank you.